This last week, on Tuesday, the 19th of November, we marked 1,000 days since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Enormous suffering and widespread destruction are the result of this war of aggression. We see Russia continuously targeting, notably the energy infrastructure of Ukraine, including attacks on the substations linking the nuclear power plant to the electricity grid. The European Council condemns the persistent shelling by Russia of Ukraine's critical energy and civilian infrastructure. The European Union and its member states will intensify the assistance to Ukraine to ensure the resilience of its energy sector through the winter. We also see Russia continuing escalating its war, most recently with the deployment of North Korean troops to Russia. This is in addition to the military support that North Korea already provides to Russia through artillery shells, missiles, and artillery. This represents an internationalization of the conflict. It is also a clear violation of international law and UN Security Council resolutions. The European Union and its member states will continue to help Ukraine and its people as Ukraine exercises its inherent right to self-defense. We help the Ukrainian state to maintain liquidity and thus function in the context of continuing Russian bombardments and hybrid attacks. We help Ukraine to maintain its exports through the solidarity lanes and to quickly repair its energy infrastructure. And our help extends to the Ukrainian people, both those remaining in the country and those who chose to seek temporary protection in the European Union. And finally, the European Union reaffirms our readiness to support Ukrainian people on their European path. Let me stress that the work of member states and the European Union go hand in hand on all aspects of our support to Ukraine. Since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine on the 24th of February 2022, the European Union has imposed massive and unprecedented sanctions against Russia. The European Union has also adopted sanctions against Belarus, Iran, and North Korea in response to their support to Russia's military aggression against Ukraine. Work on sanctions continues, and also work on further solutions to avoid circumvention. Our efforts to sustain Ukraine will continue. Ukraine will remain at the top of our political agenda and our diplomatic action. Thank you very much for your attention.
Herzlichen Dank, Herr Minister. Für die Kommission erhält nun das Wort Herr Kommissar Reynders.
Thank you, Madam President, Minister, honourable members. It is imperative that we, as European Union, together with member states, continue to use all the tools at our disposal to assist Ukraine, its military defence, its economy, its citizens, and support it on its EU accession path, in line with the EU-Ukraine Joint Security Commitment signed in June. All aspects of our support are linked and interconnected. Security and defence goes hand in hand with support to accession-related reforms and with the support to recovery and reconstruction. And EU's accession is the ultimate guarantee that the European Union can offer. As shown by the Ukraine report under this year's enlargement package, Ukraine has continued to demonstrate remarkable resilience and strong commitment to fundamental reforms, despite the ongoing Russian war of aggression. The overall assistance to Ukraine and its people by the European Union and its member states amounts to about 124 billion euro. The Ukraine facility is delivering, with the total financing expected to be more than 16 billion euro by the end of the year, to support Ukraine's most pressing financing needs. Its second pillar, the Ukraine Investment Framework, will support investments in critical reconstruction projects. Around 45.5 billion euro have been mobilized in military support, of which 6.1 billion via the European Peace Facility. This helps providing a wide variety of arms necessary for Ukraine to repel the Russian aggression. The European Union is committed and delivered 1 million ammunition shells. At the same time, we ramped up the production capacity of our own industry. This improved production capacity will not only help long-term assistance to Ukraine, but also replenish our own stocks. By helping Ukraine, we are also building up our own security. Ukraine is now able to operate F-16 fighter jets thanks to the Netherlands, Denmark and others. Additionally, we have mobilized 1.5 billion in windfall profits from frozen Russian assets. 90% of this first tranche will be channeled through the European Peace Facility to deliver priority equipment, including artillery ammunition and air defense, and for the first time, direct procurement from the Ukrainian defense industry. For the next tranche of expected 1.9 billion euro, we propose to allocate 1 billion to the Ukrainian industry. Our EU military assistance mission to Ukraine will hit the target of 75,000 Ukrainian soldiers trained by the end of the winter. However, we know that the current level of assistance remains insufficient to tilt the situation on the battlefield in Ukraine's favor. We know that Russia has put its entire economy on a wartime footing and counts on the military backing of North Korea and Iran, as well as the substantial support provided by China. We need to step up our assistance. Ukraine urgently needs more air defense, more ammunition, and more long-range weapons. Our support to Ukraine must be scaled up. The European Union will continue to coordinate with its member states to increase our military support and to adapt our aid to Ukraine's needs. The European Union will also continue to work with member states to provide all the necessary political, military, financial assistance that Ukraine needs to win. It's very important to continue such a kind of support during the war now, but we need also, I will say, to continue to work on the fight against impunity, to be sure that it's possible to bring the responsible people for such a war of aggression to justice, and we need to continue to work to be sure that Russia will pay for the compensation of the damages caused by the Russian aggression against Ukraine. So be sure that we want to continue our full support during the war, but we want also to continue our action about the accountability of the Russian authorities for all the crimes committed in Ukraine. Thank you very much for your support and your attention.